All right, guys, we got this. Let's go. Gun wide trip sweep. Pros X go. On one. On one. Ready?
Ready.
What's up, guys? It's Pick'em with HuddleGG, and in today's video we're going to talk about how we can effectively run the ball up the middle even when our opponent has two inside stuffs on the field at the same time. Now, before we get into the two inside stuffs, we first need to understand how to run effectively against one inside stuff on the field. Alright, so we're going to come out in the play inside zone, and for those of you that don't know, inside stuff is an ability on defensive linemen that really beats their blockers immediately on any interior run, right? Inside zones, dives, ISOs, traps, powers, stuff like that. That one player is really going to cause havoc and make it frustrating when you're trying to run the ball up the middle. All right, so if we look at our defense here, we have one inside stuff on the field is the left of screen defensive tackle with Vita Vea. Okay, so again, that's the player that has the ability, and you can see if we run an inside zone, he's going to immediately beat his guy and then be able to hit us in the backfield or alter our run in some way. Right, if we look at the replay here, our left guard will attempt to block him, but he's going to get beat pretty much every single time, right? And that's because of the ability. Now, obviously, we could try to run to the right here, but the goal when we're running the ball is to be patient and pick the right hole. We don't want to have the defensive line really force our hand this early on in the play, right? At this point, there is nowhere for us to go but try to get to the right, and even then, sometimes he's going to be able to hit us in the backfield. All right, so the way that we can stop one inside stuff is very, very simple, okay? All we need to do is use the double team mechanic. Now, when we are running the ball, who we double team, our line's not actually going to double that player. I know it's a little confusing, but you still can use the mechanic, right? So again, if we double team Vita Vea here, what you're going to see is we're still only going to get one block on him, but he's not going to beat the block because he's quote-unquote double teamed, right? We're not going to get two players on him. Your run blocking is really dependent on the defensive front and understanding which players double who in each individual type of run play, right? So again, we can't manually tell somebody to actually double team and get two blockers on a player, but we can use the double team mechanic, and that's going to, again, just shut off inside stuff, right? So again, if we say hike here, you can see he doesn't win right away, right? Now again, I stood there and didn't do anything just so you guys could see what could happen, but if we go to the replay here, you'll see that immediately he's stonewalled, right? Vita Vea does not win immediately. Right, you see our 75 is getting the block there, so now we would have the time and have the ability to pick the right hole, right? So again, if we do it again without the double team, I'll show you that he's going to beat his blocker right away, right? So again, we say hike, he beats his blocker right away. Now, he does get pushed to the outside a little bit, but if we go to the replay here, you can see that our guard does not stonewall him, right? Again, we say hike, and Vita Vea is immediately getting into the backfield. Right, this is what we don't want when we're trying to run the ball. Again, we get a nice animation for us here at the end where he bounces to the outside. But again, he's forcing our hand here, right? We have to cut it back inside immediately or we're not going to be able to effectively run that play. Now, again, one more time with the double team. If we do the double team, which is, again, LB down on the right stick, and then you want to pick the player by using the left stick, right? So you go over here to Vita Vea. We're going to push A to select him. All right, so now if we run this, you're going to see that, again, he doesn't win immediately, and we have time and the ability to make the right read in running the ball. All right, so if we go back to the replay here real quick, you can see when we double team him, two people don't get to him, right? You can see here that only one player is blocking him, but he still gets stonewalled, and he's not ever going to win immediately, right? He obviously will still shed, just like every other lineman sheds, right? He sheds there, same time Micah Parsons on the end sheds, but it's not going to be immediate and get into the backfield and disrupt the play. Okay, so that's all we need to do when it comes to blocking one inside stuff. All right, now when it comes to blocking two inside stuffs, that's where it gets a little bit trickier and requires a little bit of knowledge on our part. Okay, so if we come out in that same defensive play and same offensive play here, now we've added two inside stuffs onto the field, right? Our left of screen and right of screen D tackle both have inside stuff. Now, when it comes to stopping two of them, we're still going to use the double team mechanic, but we need to understand which of them is going to be double teamed naturally. Okay, so again, like I said, when we use the double team mechanic, it doesn't tell our line how to block. It's just a coding in the game that allows us to shut that ability off. But there are certain plays where certain people in specific gaps in the run game are going to get double teamed. Okay, so if we come back out in this inside zone play against this front, right, where the play side B gap is covered, backside A gap is covered, you're going to see that the player in the A gap is naturally going to get double teamed. Okay, I'm not doing anything with the double team right now. I'm not going to touch the double team, right? So if we run this, you can see that one of the players is going to get double teamed and one's going to immediately win because of his inside stuff ability, right? So again, if we look at this play, you can see the left screen, right? Left of screen DN Vita Vea is 3 yards in the backfield when we hand it off again because of inside stuff, whereas the right of screen D tackle is naturally getting double teamed due to the alignment on this play. Okay, so how can we use this to our advantage? Well, we're going to double team the guy that's not already naturally becoming double teamed, right? So again, in this situation, we would double team the left of screen defensive tackle again. So now, like I said, we have 2 inside stuffs on the field. What you're going to see is when we double team the one in the B gap, we're not going to have anybody get into the backfield right away, right? So again, here you can see that no one gets in the backfield right away, and it gives us plenty of time to make the appropriate read and run the ball where we need to run the ball. Right, so if we look at the replay here, you can see that our left guard is going to get the stonewall because we used the double team mechanic on him because we knew the right of screen D tackle was going to be getting double teamed naturally. All right, so again, that's an easy way for us to shut off 2 inside stuffs. Now, if the front was different, right, so let's say that it was like this, right? So now, obviously, the play side A gap is covered, where the backside B gap is covered, right? So you obviously see these 2 D tackles are in a little bit different alignment now. So what we'll see here is if we just run inside stuff, what should happen is the right of screen D tackle should win immediately because, again, he's single teamed, right? Because he's not in the A gap, right? What we showed last time is when we run inside zone, whoever's in the A gap is going to get double teamed, right? So if we say hike here, what you'll see is he won immediately to the right, and Vita Vea got naturally double teamed, so he's not going to win there. All right, so if we look at this replay here, you'll see that the guy on the right, Chris Jones, is in the backfield, right? His inside stuff wins. Again, it doesn't mean he's always going to go right to the ball carrier, but he is going to beat his block every time, whereas if you're getting naturally double teamed, you're not going to. Okay, so if we come out in another play where it is a front where the left A gap is covered, so if we just come out in cover 2 here and run the same play, you'll see that again, right of screen B gap is covered. That's the guy that's going to win and really be able to get into the backfield and disrupt this type of play. And again, it's simply because of who's getting double teamed, right? On inside zone, the A gap player is getting double teamed, right? So the B gap player is not, and that's the guy we need to worry about. So if we come up against a front like this, we want to double team this guy over here because he's the one who's not naturally going to be double teamed. Right, so again, if we say hike, you can see that now we were able to shut off both of them and give ourselves the time and the space to run where we needed to run. Right, I'm not really focused on running the ball right now, but really just helping you understand the blocking. So again, here, the right of screen D tackle, we double teamed, so he's going to get stonewalled by 70, and then the other guy there in the A gap is getting naturally double teamed, and that's going to completely shut off his inside stuff as well. Okay, now I do want to show you one other play here real quick, because the type of play matters, right? So again, if we come out in a play like, or if we come out in cover 2 again, and we come out in a power O, right? And this is a shotgun power O, but it's going to be the same for an under center power O. In power O, the player being double teamed, we want him on the play side B gap, right? So this would be a perfect look for us, because if we run this, what you're going to see is that play side B gap gets double teamed initially, and it shuts off the inside stuff. So we can use this to help us understand what player we need to double depending on the type of run we're using, right? So again, in this specific play, power O, Vita Vea is in the A gap, right? And we talked in inside zone, that guy'd get doubled, but you see here, there's a pulling guard. So he's getting singled by our center, and because of his inside stuff, you see how he's 3 yards in the backfield again when we are able to hand the ball off. But if we look at the right of screen D tackle, he first gets double teamed by the right guard and right center, which shuts off his inside stuff. So if we use that information to help our run game out, what we need to do is we need to now double team the guy who's getting singled, right? So again, we want to double team Vita Vea if we're doing this power O or that backside A gap player. So now what you're going to see is he's going to get stonewalled. We're going to be able to double team the right of screen defensive tackle because of the type of run that we called, and be able to run effectively inside the tackles, again, even when they have these 2 inside stuffs. So if we look at this again, right, we double teamed Vita Vea, 50 there. So he's going to get stonewalled by the one blocker, our center, right? He doesn't need any help. But what you're going to see now is we have this natural double team to the backside, which is going to knock the inside stuff out of the play. And then again, we just follow our blocker there for some easy yards up the middle, right? So again, it's very, very important for you to understand who's naturally getting double teamed on any interior run based off of different defensive fronts. And that's going to allow us to still run the ball effectively, even when our opponents have these abilities up the middle. And if you're interested in getting better at Madden, make sure to join our free Discord by going to HuddleGG/Discord. Have a great day.